I'm going to share this just because I feel like God's had it on my heart for a couple months now. I was diagnosed with colonic inertia and pelvic floor dysfunction. I saw one gastroenterologist for, 3 years. And he tried all these things, and at the end he's like, I'm out of options, I don't know what you have. That was in Wyoming. So then I went to Billings Clinic in Montana, and he kind of was just quick to say, first he's like, you have colonic inertia, and like your intestines just don't want to move. And he was quick to say, like, we're gonna need to take it out and give you a colostomy bag. We're gonna cut you right down here, la la la. And I went home with my mom and cried. And my parents are just really cool and supportive. And they both were like, you know, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. I'm like, okay. So all throughout this, I was just having like the most painful episodes on the toilet. And it would just kind of come out of nowhere. I'd have to run to the bathroom, and like my body would just start pushing. And I feel like within like 10 seconds, my body would just go into shock from the pain. Like I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. And I'd hear ringing. I'd shake. I'd sweat like crazy. A few times I know I seized. I have fallen off the toilet, woken up on the floor with puke. The list goes on. And the few times that I've gone to the ER, they were just not helpful at all. And they just made me feel really embarrassed. Almost like since I wasn't screaming, then I wasn't really in that much pain. So I had an episode like 5 years ago maybe, and I told my parents, I'm like, I want to go to Mayo Clinic. I want to go to one of the best and see what they can do. So I went there a few times. It's like an 11-hour drive, and they did all these really uncomfortable, painful tests. And then they said, you have pelvic floor dysfunction, so we'd like you to do 2 weeks of pelvic floor biofeedback, like in the physical therapy department. So I came back and I did that, and that was really uncomfortable. They give you this like monitor, like this size, well, like similar to this but wider, and then it goes with a cord and like a probe like this. It looks almost like a light bulb but smaller, okay? And then you stick it up there and you sit down, and you're supposed to get the light from the top down to the bottom, and it's all what you think and feel. So what I learned, at least for myself, is that all my stress would go to my pelvic floor. So it was almost like my whole crotch was just tense for, almost 20 years. And I thought it was normal. I didn't know until then that it wasn't relaxed. So they had me try a couple different things to, like visualization, different sounds. But it's like the more, like I still do the biofeedback. I have it at home. Right now I'm doing it 3 times a day. Just to get back where I want to be, because it does forget very easily. Oh, I forgot to mention, like I went through that program twice because I didn't like fully grasp. It's almost like they were just saying, just relax, watch the light and relax. It's like I spent my whole life tense, you know? So after that second time, I went back to the gastroenterologist at Mayo, and she's like, well, let's just remove your colon and give you a colostomy bag. And my heart just wasn't ready for that. So I took it home and like really, I mean, my 2020 was rough, and I went through 3 different programs and learned all these stress relieving techniques, and I tossed out what didn't work and kept what did. And so I practiced a lot of that when I do my biofeedback. And the biofeedback you do for like 30 minutes to an hour. So I started writing down like what I would tell other people instead of having to find it out the hard way 4 years later, like what actually gets the light down. And I will say it does take a lot of time. You have to be really patient with yourself. You just have to give yourself grace because you didn't know any different. And it can get frustrating. You see the light down and then it bounces right back up. It's like it just took me 10 minutes to get it down. But I will say that it works. And I don't know, I guess I was just wondering if there's other people that would benefit from me just sharing what to do and how to do it, what techniques, everything. It would take me time. So I've thought about like selling some videos, and you could just do one at a time. If you didn't like it, you don't have to keep buying. But I also don't have a job right now just because I'm trying to not stress. I'm sure you know what that's like. And it gets more stressful when your belly just gets bigger and you can't go. Side note, it wasn't until like a few years ago, I'm 32 by the way, a few years ago that I finally learned that what will shut off those bad cramps is this prescription called Zofran. It goes on your tongue, dissolves. Literally within seconds, it shuts it off. It's what they give people in the ER when they have an allergic reaction to shut it off. And it is magic medicine. It just kind of shows that a lot of doctors truly believe they're right. And it's like, it almost has you convinced. But I don't know. You gotta live and learn to find out what is really the truth. So let me know, either in the comments here or in the comments wherever I post. And let me know if that'd be beneficial. And the monitor itself, you'd have to order. And it was $400. Huge investment. but it was worth it for me. And obviously, like, add suggestions or any of that. Questions, let me know what would be helpful and what wouldn't. Looking back, I just don't see, I can't practice the biofeedback without my monitor, because my body just sometimes still can't tell when it's relaxed and when it's not. I also constantly have to practice like what I need to be thinking, what thoughts like make it more tense, what relaxes it, all that. But something they've said at Mayo Clinic is that our patients come here and have these diagnoses, and a lot of it, they just need to make a lifestyle change to heal it, but they're not willing to do that. So that's where we get to come in and do these surgeries and such. And that just made a lot of sense to me. Anyways, let me know.